In 2018, Mexico's president made a promise so audacious it bordered on insane. Build a 970-mile railway through impenetrable jungle in just 6 years. What happened next became one of the most expensive engineering disasters in Latin American history. This is the story of the Maya train, and why some victories cost more than defeats. In the next 8 minutes, you'll see how Mexico moved mountains of concrete through roadless jungle, why a single Maya temple nearly killed the entire project, and whether this $28 billion gamble will ever pay off. López Obrador's pitch was simple: connect Mexico's forgotten south with high-speed rail. The reality was anything but simple. 1,500 kilometers through some of the world's most challenging terrain. Ancient jungle that had survived Spanish conquest would now face bulldozers and dynamite. The economic promise was staggering: 715,000 jobs, tourism revolution, and economic transformation for Mexico's poorest region. The budget? $7 billion. The timeline? Non-negotiable. What could go wrong? Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. The first challenge seemed simple: get building materials to construction sites. But when your construction site is 100 miles from the nearest road, simple becomes impossible. Construction crews had to build hundreds of miles of temporary roads just to reach their work sites. Every concrete segment, some weighing 40 tons, required a 3-day journey through jungle that turned into swamp every afternoon. When Hurricane Eta hit in 2020, it wiped out 3 months of supply deliveries in 48 hours. Then the ground started talking. Every few miles, excavators would hit something extraordinary: entire Maya cities buried for 1,000 years. Over 25,000 archaeological structures were discovered along the route, creating a constant battle between construction schedules and historic preservation. Each discovery triggered expensive delays and rerouting decisions. They chose to move entire temples stone by stone, archaeological surgery that added months to construction timelines and hundreds of millions to the budget. But the worst challenge was literally underground. The Yucatan Peninsula sits on karst limestone riddled with cenotes, massive underground caverns and rivers. Building on this Swiss cheese foundation meant every section required specialized drilling to detect hidden voids. You can't risk a 200-ton train collapsing into a hidden cenote. In some areas, just 3 feet separated the railway from massive underground chambers. Engineers developed entirely new foundation techniques, distributing weight across specially designed supports that looked more like spiderwebs than railway foundations. Political pressure made everything worse. López Obrador had staked his presidential legacy on finishing before leaving office. Contractors worked 24/7 in jungle heat and humidity, battling mosquitoes, jaguars, and tropical storms that could wash away weeks of progress in hours. The budget explosion hit like a financial earthquake. López Obrador's $7 billion estimate became $14 billion, then $20 billion, finally reaching $28 billion, a 400% cost overrun that made this one of the most expensive infrastructure projects in Mexican history. Every engineering challenge added millions. Every archaeological discovery triggered expensive delays. Every environmental protection measure, and there were hundreds, inflated the final price tag. The human cost was equally staggering. Land acquisition became a political minefield as the government forced sales from indigenous communities who had lived on this land for generations. Entire Maya villages watched bulldozers clear ancestral territory their families had farmed for centuries. Environmental casualties mounted with each mile. Ancient jungle that had survived since the Ice Age fell to construction crews in months. Every kilometer required clearing a 60-meter corridor through pristine biodiversity. Multiply that by 1,554 kilometers, the environmental impact becomes almost incomprehensible. Aquifer contamination became a growing concern as construction activities disturbed underground water systems supplying 5 million people. Cement dust and construction chemicals seeped into cenote systems that had remained pristine for millennia. So after 6 years and $28 billion, does the Maya train actually work? The trains run, that much is true. Passengers can travel from Cancun to Palenque through previously inaccessible jungle. But ridership is running far below projections. The government originally expected 22,000 to 37,000 passengers daily. Current reality: about 1,650 passengers per day, less than 5% of projections. Tourist demand exists, but ticket prices ranging from $30 to $170 per route make it unaffordable for many locals. The promised economic transformation is happening, but not how anyone expected. Tourism development has led to gentrification and displacement. Indigenous families who sold their land are now priced out of their own communities. The railway brought development, but development brought displacement. Environmental damage proved worse than critics predicted. Wildlife corridors have been severely disrupted, threatening endangered species like jaguars. Multiple cenote systems show contamination from construction runoff. The ecological cost of connection may be permanent disconnection of wildlife corridors that existed for millennia. So, was the Maya train worth $28 billion? As an engineering achievement, absolutely. Mexico proved you can build anything anywhere if you're willing to pay the price. The technical solutions were remarkable. New drilling techniques for cenote-riddled limestone, modular construction for tight jungle clearings, bridge engineering borrowed from mountain railways. But as economic development, it's a cautionary tale. The communities this train was supposed to help are now priced out of their own region. The environment it was meant to showcase is permanently damaged. The tourism boom benefits international hotels, not local families. The real test comes next. Mexico plans 4 more jungle railways by 2030. China is building similar projects across Southeast Asia. The Maya train isn't just Mexico's experiment. It's a preview of how the developing world will transform over the next decade. López Obrador succeeded in connecting the Maya world while potentially destroying much of what made it special. The railway stands as both monument to human ambition and cautionary tale about the true cost of progress. The question isn't whether we can build trains through jungles. The question is whether we should. Mexico's forgotten South will never be forgotten again. But was that transformation worth the price? Some victories cost more than defeats. The Maya train works, the tourists are coming, and the South is connected. But in connecting the Maya world, Mexico may have disconnected it from everything that made it worth preserving. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the world's most controversial mega projects, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories of human ambition, engineering marvels, and the hidden costs of progress. What do you think? Was the Maya train worth the price? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.